Okay, everybody, so welcome back to Derp Your Hooves, and here we're going to have the part two, or it's actually a livery 3, but it's part two of um, modifying the Cessna Skymaster liveries. We're actually updating our file, and here I was aware kind of when I was doing the last one that things look a little different, and they looked a little different because I was missing some of these files here, so I'm going to go ahead and this should be let's go ahead and take a look. This is actually the .png file, and this is the orange Clip Studio file. So I'm just going to go ahead and, if I double click this, it's going to go ahead and launch my Clip Studio Paint, which is one of the art programs that I use. And you see we have this whole orange, this is because this is the orange file. With an orange nose, and this is because Carenado, when they did this, they included the propeller in the fuselage file, and the propeller is right here. So whatever color you make this is what color the propeller is going to be for the front, and the rear propeller is a different one. But for this one, we're not going to change the color of the rear propeller because it's going to be white. So this kind of gray comes up as kind of a white. I have modified their file. I included here de-icer boots. Yeah, I'm also, in the middle of, testing a different livery that gives the Carenado de-ice properties in icing conditions, because Carenado did not include that for us. But I'm creating a workaround for that. There won't be any clickable cockpit buttons, but you'll be able to use basic commands to go ahead and engage de-ice on the Skymaster, and I'm still testing it out. Looks like it's working fine so far. That's just on a side note. I'm going to release that if someone else doesn't already beat me to it. But I'm still testing it to make sure it works. So here we have our de-icer boots. And I was doing some work on this in layers to make it orange, and so I have my de-icer boots, right? And I obviously want the gold pony to have the de-icer boots. So I'm actually going to just do something quick and dirty here in Clip Studio. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at this and go to Texture Sea Blue, and we're back in the other folder. If you remember the let's go back here. I know you're not seeing it on my desktop, but we're going in here. So it says Gold Chrome Pony 2 Original, so we're going to go to Original. If you remember the layouts of the folders before, and we have our two PNG files. We have a blue PNG, so I'll drag them in here for examples, and we have a gold PNG, and you'll see that here's this nice Clip Studio gold, blue, orange. Gold, blue, gold. No, orange, blue, and gold. And so you'll see that these two PNG files don't have the de-icer boots, and they don't have the de-icer boots. And we don't want more text font, so let's get out of the text tool. But like I said, whatever color you want your front propeller to be, it has to be in the little door there. So we want the gold, but we want our de-icer boots. So I'm going to go back to my Clip Studio file. I'm going to find the layer that has the de-icer boots. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy that layer. Fine, we're going to use keyboard shortcuts. So we copy it. And here's our gold file without de-icer boots, and we're going to paste it. And now the de-icer boots, well, they show up, and that's exactly what I want them to do, is show up. And I want to save this as a PNG file, so I'm just going to save it. And it's going to be called the same thing, so it's going to be a .png. And here's where I'm just going to go ahead and replace the file, because I know what the file is, and this is why I'm saying be very careful when you start. If you start messing around with your factory liveries in the factory folders, you may rename a file or copy over something and totally mess up your liveries, your factory liveries. Have to re-download liveries and files and aircraft, versus just making a backup. So I hit save, and it's going to say, CO can't be maintained. If you save it, do you want to proceed? Yes, that's just your average warning. And it should come up and say, hey, this is not the original. Oh, okay, everybody. So, my computer does this when I change .png files. It could be a hardware RAM issue. It could be so many things. Always happy to accept donations if anyone wants to help me, upgrade the RAM in my machine to something better than what's in it. But right now I'm working with what I got, and it shouldn't be doing that. But it went ahead, and that's how I know that it saved it and it converted the file to a PNG. So now I should have this as a PNG, not as just a Clip Studio file, but as a PNG. And I should know it if I go here and I go to original, and it has one without de-icer boots. Let's go to extra large icons, a gold, and one with de-icer boots, and they're both .png files. So it saved it, so we can quit Clip Studio Paint because I don't need it for anything else. Do you want to? No, I don't want to save any changes to any other files. So again, if you're designing and you're rewriting any kind of files, make sure that you're working on a copy of a copy and not the original file, so you don't mess anything up by accident. So now I have this file, but it's not going to do me any good as a .png file. And this is what I was talking about. We're going to have to get into using GIMP. And what I actually want to do here as well, since I have all these files and folders open, I should be able to go to more boots. And I'm just going to poke around in here for a minute and see if I can find the file I was looking for. So we had a blue. We had the blue. And we have purples and golds and golds and we're just going to use our gold file. That's fine. It should turn out just fine. But no, I actually want to do this. So we're going to do a quick switcheroo here using the folders that we have open. We have the gold pony, but I want to go to blue chrome pony, and I want to go to sim objects, airplanes, pony, texture, and I want to find not necessarily that, but this. So we're going to double click it, and we're going to open it. So now that we've opened it, we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to export it. We're going to go to Update Sky Masters, and we're going to export it as a PNG. Yep, it's going to be called that, and we're going to export it. And since it's such a small file, it's done, and it's not going to be here. It's going to save it to Undate Sky Masters. There it is. And what I want to do is I am just going to go to Paint. Nope, not Paint, sorry. Clip Studio. Let's just go to Clip Studio here on my desktop and launch Clip Studio. So we were talking about the Launch and Clip Studio Paint because we're going to change the overall XML paint file, the live ALBD file. Sorry, I went to go take a break and have a snack. So I may be, sipping something here in the background as I work on this art file. You have to excuse me. It is a really long lesson. If you guys want to get a snack in between, I totally understand. So the live ALBD.png, because the striping on the planes is different, and I have the blue one set up one way and the gold one set up another. So what I really want to do here is make sure that my color schemes are the same. And, one of the ways I do that is I just kind of go through here and I get the files I need, like the Gold SkyMaster file, which I called Goldie1. And we don't need to make it a GIMP file. We just need to open Clip Studio Paint and minimize the window. Yes, dragging and dropping, everybody can be your friend. I mean, some people don't like dragging and dropping. Do what you like. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're just going to change this file by selecting that. And, Alt-Delete, change the color. Same thing here. I want to pick a lighter color because I just want to mimic this without using the third color. I don't really think it makes that much of a difference, but... And so we have our two hues of gold, and we are going to save this as live ALBDG gold 2, so that if I don't have an image preview, I can see what it is as a PNG file. And we're going to save it so we don't rewrite or overwrite the original. Close it. We really shouldn't need that folder open anymore, which is one of my main art files here on a separate drive. So we have the one that we changed everything to and the original, and so we go to large icons and you can see there's two of them saved as a PNG. Now I was talking about here, let's just drag this over to original, that in original we now have some files and they're PNG files. Now PNG files, we'll use Gold Pony as the example. Let's open it in a new window. If we go in here and we look at the PNG files, you will see right here in sim objects, airplanes, texture. That's a GIMP file. Well, it's not really a GIMP file, it's a DDS file. I forget what DDS stands for. It's an older file format. Maybe some of you guys do. I never really had to work with it. But so this says PNG, but again, it's a .dds file. It's not actually a PNG. And this was something I had covered in the first lesson. We're going to have to open this and the modified PNG and make it this DDS file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, create a new folder, and call it Gold to DDS files. And that's what happens when you have the caps lock key on. It calls everything. You hold the shift key down and it does that. It does the opposite effect. So we're going to put them in this file here. Now, so I obviously don't want this one, OEM. I want this one and that. So let's open this with GIMP. And GIMP is going to load, and I'm going to take a sip of this. It's cold out. This is really good. No, it's not alcohol. I don't drink. Okay, so even though some of my tutorials may seem like I do, this is just I've done this a million times. I'm trying to teach you, kind of a scatterbrained ADD way of doing this. So here I have my file, and it's saved as a PNG. So I also want to go ahead and I want to open the other one, which was gold2.png, which was our paint file. So now I have both of the PNG files open, and I want to change them into that DDS file where it has MIP maps, and we're going to show you how to do that right now. So here you have the fuselage file with the propeller painted gold with the de-icer boots, which is what we wanted. Right, we were making some major changes to the gold model. So you want to export it as, and you want to make sure you're exporting it to the right destination. So, you got to know a little bit about where you're putting things, or you can sort out your mess later, which I've done as well. So we picked the gold.dds files. We export it as a .dds image. And then when I hit export in GIMP, we're not in Clip Studio Paint, we're in GIMP, which is a separate art program, because we're not using Photoshop. It says save as a DDS when we hit export. Well, you want to use compression. So this is the basic way that I've learned how to do this, and my understanding of it is if you save it as a BC1/DXT1, apparently it doesn't use the comp files or the shader files, so you don't want to save it as that unless you don't want to use those files at all. You want to save it as a BC3/DXT5. But wait, there's more. All this and more, and you can get a brand new car. No, so you want to save the compression as BC3/DXT5, and then MIP maps. You want MIP maps. You want to generate these MIP maps. Listen, you should have heard me. I was really driving people nuts around here. MIP map this and MIP map that. And this may be a lot to take in, and it may take a while of practice to get it done, but once you learn how to do it, you're golden, like this plane. So we save the compression as a BC3/DXT5, and the MIP maps, we're going to generate MIP maps. We have all this in advanced options. Well, here's your advanced options. I've expanded it. Filter file, none of this really matters. I used this before in the past, the perpetual error metric, and it actually makes the file look worse, so I don't check it anymore. I just leave it exactly like that. I hit OK. And it goes ahead and it processes. It goes ahead and it processes. And now there's going to be a DDS MIP map file of this. We want to do the same thing for this file here, which is the stripes. Export as. 2 gold DDS files. Seeing it says OEM.DDS. Right. So it's going to be called that.png. Export it. And as long as we have it open, it's going to say as PNG. No, we don't want to export it as a PNG. We want to export it by file extension. And GIMP gives us all this beautiful. We have the DDS plugin as a DDS. So it gives you all these file formats. We want DDS. We're changing a standard.png to a portable network graphics DDS, whatever the DDS extension stands for. And it saved our settings before from BC3/DXT5. And we're generating MIP maps, and we're not using the perpetual error metric. Trust me, you don't want to use it. Not for these livery files for the planes. It really does make the liveries look kind of garbage. So all of our ducks are in a row, and we hit OK. And there's our files. Now I know they're there, so I've changed the 2 main files that I want to change, because I didn't really change them before, because I don't want that. I don't want blue on a gold. I don't want a blue propeller up front. I want a gold propeller. And we're going to get back in the the wonderful world of layouts in a second after we change these art files. So, we have updated SkyMaster's original. Let's just go ahead and open a new window because it's easier to navigate this way. And I saved it to the desktop. Let's see. What did I save it as? Not Reasonable SkyMaster. No, that would be too easy. Ah, that's right. It was Undate SkyMaster. See, it's really important to know what you call your folders. So we have it there, and we were updated. And originally here we were changing everything to blue, or from the blue Chrome Pony to the gold Chrome Pony 2. And if you remember, we changed the layout, so the naming convention for all these folders are right in the file. We'll change the thumbnail in a minute. So, sim objects, airplanes, subfolder, texture, and here we have all of the files and folders. Let's view them as large icons. Takes up too much space the other way. Gold DDS files are where I made my changes. So, kind of scroll the windows up a little bit here and make it a little bigger without expanding the whole window. Yeah. Don't worry, everybody. I am a semi-professional. I know what I'm doing. So, these two files are called something totally different. Let's do this in a way that you can see it. Then the files we're changing them to. And we don't need all to go into these subdirectories. We just need to look at what we're working on with our funny shaped windows. So I want to basically change this because, like I said, I don't want a blue propeller. So there's a really easy way to do it. I've been doing it through my tutorials so far. If you just want to change a file name from one thing to the next, like you want to update it, I can go ahead and just highlight the file name, copy it, and I'm going to throw out this folder when I'm done with it anyways, and then just paste it, and it changes the name to the right naming convention. Same thing for that. I mean, you can copy it and paste it, or you can just, I know it's called ALBD, and I can just delete it. Hit the caps lock key and type the file extension in, and it's got the right file name. And I can copy them both over and drag them over together, but I'm going to drag them over one by one so that you can see the changes that are made with your eyes. Drag this DDS file in here, and it's going to say, hey, it's already there. Yeah, I want to replace the file X. Boom. It's got the right one. Same thing for this. I want to get rid of that blue one. I want to put the gold one in. Do you want to do it? Yeah. And again, remember, careful if you're working with original files, because once you've done something like this, it doesn't end up in the recycle bin sometimes. It ends up as digital dust. That you need data recovery programs to go in and dig it out. Back up your stuff before you start making changes. So we've dragged them over. Oh, working on it. Yeah, well, there's nothing there to work on. Again, I think I have a RAM issue here. And again, I want to thank this guy. I was, modifying one of his liveries for my own skins for the Derp Your Hooves channel. Hey, everybody. Again, going to mention this while I'm here. You can see the amount of work that it takes to go ahead and make changes to build these art files, to build liveries. Some of us designers really don't like it when we spend all of this time developing these beautiful liveries for you to have our art files ripped off. So if you ever see something that says you can use my files, but you got to contact me first for permission, it's just a common courtesy. Contact me. You know what? I'm pretty sure that 9 times out of 10 I'm going to say, okay, you can use my file. But reach out. Don't steal my art. Just don't steal my artwork. Don't steal my hard work. I don't really like doing that to other people. So just a common courtesy. If the feature's there to ask, it should be, and you can contact me like you can on flightsim.to. I'm Pony767. You know, I'm more than likely to just happy to let you use my file. If not, I'll let you know, and I'll let you know why, and we can discuss whatever that arrangement may be. But again, we work really hard at this. So, and you're going to see just how hard it is to do it if you want to do it yourself. And even though you get it done, it's lots of time, you know. So, anyhow, besides our little lesson on morality there, let's go ahead and look and see what we have. So we've got our window open here with all of our right textures. Pretty much exactly how I want it, except for the thumbnail. I can change the thumbnail to something else, like this box of cable or something weird, but I pretty much know what it's going to be when I get there, so we'll change the thumbnails to screenshots later. And I know that all my other files and everything in here is right. So now that I've got all my art files exactly how I want them, I still have some files that I have to edit here. And, they're not going to be art files, sorry. They're going to be the aircraft config file. I really don't need to change anything else because I'm going to change the name of it. So I called this one Ice Pony. Excuse me there too. You guys, I'm sorry for all that stuff. So we want to call this, how about Gold Pony 2. Caps lock key, everybody. Skymaster Gold Pony 2. That looks really cool. Okay, so we'll just call it Gold Pony 2. Copy that. We have to change that. Skymaster Orange. Nope. We want to change that to Gold Pony 2. Cessna Skymaster Pony 767. That's me. I don't need to change that. Okay, so all this is in here. You know what? I don't want it to say Blue Pony 3 on the tail. And we definitely don't want it to pull from the wrong art folder. So, again, your naming conventions, that's going to hurt you. It should be CGLD2, not C Blue. So we'll change that in a second. Actually, let's just change it right now. So let's go here. Just take the dot. We don't need the dot. We just need to copy that. Bring up our Visual Studio Code. And for this, because there's only 2 C Blues, change all. We copied it. We paste it. Now that reference is going to turn out right. Now I'm going to actually give you a little golden lesson here that, nobody helped me with. I had to figure it out on my own. Which was, if the model folder in some cases and the texture folders aren't right, sometimes your livery won't even load. You'll have everything right. All the naming conventions will be good, except for here in your aircraft config folder. And it's just not going to load. It's not going to show up at all. You're going to say, I did all this work. Where is it? Well, chances are you didn't give it the right point of reference. So we copied and pasted it. We know it's right. It's going to be called Gold Pony 2. The base container this is the Carenado base container. We own the plane. This is its location on the hard drive where it's stored. Don't have to change all this. And I don't want to call it Blue 3 Pony. I want to call it, let's call it caps lock on GLDPNY2, Gold Pony 2. And I could have done a change all, but we're just going to do it manually. Alrighty. So there we have our changes, and let's go back over everything. Yes, major, minor, that's good. Base container's there. The title's right. The model folder's right. The texture folder, you're going to see, there's the texture folder, right? Panel folder, there's nothing in there. Don't worry about that. It doesn't matter for this right now. Sometimes it would, but the way we have this laid out, it doesn't matter. You just need your texture and your model, because that's all we have is a texture and a model. The panel folder, when you put it like that, it's going to pull it from the default. So we've got texture named right. The tail's going to look right. Everything's going to look right. So that looks good. Save as instead of save. It's going to say, oh, do you want to replace it? Yep, you're Skippy, I do. Okay, so I want to save it. I don't need that open anymore. And let's just change one more file, and we should be ready to drag and drop this and look at our finished product. And hopefully I didn't make any mistakes, being as thorough as I have. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to undate Sky Masters. See, remember, again, naming is everything. And original Gold Chrome Pony 2. Now, that's the folder we're going to drop into our community folder. So, content info, sim objects, layout, manifest. So we already played with the layout, right? Right. We didn't play out with the manifest, did we? No. See, it says Ice Pony. Right. Well, we don't want to call it Ice Pony. What did we want to call it again? So go back to sim objects, airplanes, Gold Pony 2, aircraft, right? Right. So we want to call it Gold Pony 2. So we can just copy that. Go to your manifest. We don't want to call it Ice Pony. We want to call it Gold. Really? I guess I didn't copy it. I guess not. Be careful what you're doing, everybody. This is where you make changes that make you go insane. Paste it. There we go. It's good. We're in the manifest. Save as. Save it. Yep. I just like making sure I save as is not save, so I'm working with so many files, I know where it's at. We don't have to save that. It's already saved. So, everything but the thumbnails are perfect. And we're ready to do something else. We're going to go ahead and we're going to drop this into our community folder, and the moment of truth is about to happen. We're going to see if this works. So we're going to copy it because I don't want to cut it. And I'm going to say File, Open New Window, Right, Gold Pony 2. And no, I'm going to go to my C folder, Users, Username. And I'm going to type in my path. Because it's a hidden folder. It's a hidden file. Roaming. Microsoft Flight Simulator. Here's the path name, by the way, for anyone who's using Steam. Packages, community, and I have all of my add-ons, all my add-on liveries in here, and we copied it. We're going to go ahead and paste it. There it is. Gold Chrome Pony 2. So, we're assuming that I did everything right, and that I taught all you guys right. And when I launch Microsoft Flight Simulator, which I'm going to do right now, we should be able to see this masterpiece. So I'm going to go ahead and launch it, and I'm not going to bore you with the loading screen. And we're going to just cut right to it, and you're going to see exactly how it looks. So see you guys in a couple of minutes. Okay, so here we are, and you say, well, that's not the gold pony. Weren't we working on gold pony 2? And it looks like there's blue 3 pony here. Well, let's see if we did it right. Okay, so there's actually what looks like a duplicate, right? Well, remember I said I didn't change the thumbnail. So, moment of truth, everybody. I either did it right or I did it wrong. And everything looks in order. So I'm seeing that I've got my de-icer boots. I've got my gold trim, because we wanted to do it in gold. I've got everything here in gold. The back propeller is white. Well, let's go take a 3D look at it. And the front propeller is a gold chrome. The interior is that, brown leather. We can work on that, a future upgrade. I was showing you the ATC file. So the registration number of the aircraft by default is going to be Gold Pony 2, because we changed that file to say so. And everything looks good from the outside. Now, oh, look at that. See, now we did make a mistake. We have the wrong decals on this aircraft. And you say, well, how do you know you have the wrong decals on this aircraft? And I can tell you how I know I have the wrong decals on this aircraft, because I'm looking on the wing and I made an oopsie daisy. I still have the wrong decals in this folder. So I'm actually going to go ahead and fix that really quick. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to show you the inside of it. Oh, look, Derp Your Hooves at YouTube. Okay, that's my channel. Oh, the tablet's got, my Derp Your Hooves on it. Oh, it's got Pony 6-7 on the yokes, so I'm happy there. It has all my other little surprises that are in here. Oh, did I mumble that? Anyways, so, I've changed the layout of the cockpit a little bit here. And, my little art Easter egg hunt for anyone who may have some of my liveries. That's a hint. Sometimes I do leave cool little things around that aren't in the factory setup. Anyhow, so I know the interior is right. We did this right, and we can kind of do this. And I didn't change anything back here, like the seats, the seat belts, the shell. That's all still got your 70s brown, which I guess brown goes with gold. And the tablet's got my Derp Your Hooves, and it's got Derp Your Hooves. Yep, so we were already saying that. And then we go back to the 3D view. You're seeing everything looks great. The decals look great, but right here. And the de-icer boots are there, by the way, see? Because they weren't there on the other one. And I'll show you that in a second when I compare it to the standard gold pony. And the paint is a little different. Well, I'm going to show you the paint and the panel file for a minute here, because this little goof gives us the opportunity to go back and take a look. So I will show you something here. You see, here's the stickers, and there's the stickers right there. And you're saying, oh, and here's the paint file. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to throw in a little bonus here. I'm going to say, well, you see, you have this paint set up. And I'll show you also, this will demonstrate the propellers. I'm going to have to quit Flight Simulator and restart it. You can change art files and flip back and forth between planes. I've noticed Microsoft Flight Simulator does not like it when you do that. It holds things in memory, etc., etc. So, sometimes you have to quit the sim, go back, relaunch it, quit it, go back, relaunch it when you make changes. So let me show you. This is what we have as our upgrade. Right? We want to do it like this, and I'm going to leave it like this. I kind of like this paint scheme. I like the other one too, but you see it's got this here. Right? And it's got all these art files, and it's got a decal file, but it's got the wrong decal file. So we have to change that decal file. And I'm actually going to do this without demonstrating it for you. Sorry, guys. If I go back, and I go back to my hangar, and I go to the liveries, you see the difference between this gold and, obviously, this gold. Now, see, there's a hole. That's different. The front propeller's gold. The back one's gold. The back tail is gold. Well, there's some issues with the decals and stuff in here too. That, hey, guess what? Sorry guys, you don't get a rear de-icer boot with this paint style. You know, I know there's a way to do it. Oh, and like I said, there's no de-icer boots. But even if I wanted to put them in here, it's not going to work. The de-icer boots will work on the wing. They work on the tail. That's another problem we can work on. But you see that the layout is different. The layout's different of that because we're using, again, I'm using Carenado's default paint schemes, but I'm changing the colors and I'm adding a couple of things. They do offer a totally blank canvas for you, and I've been working on this. Go to town. You know, you can do whatever you want with a totally blank canvas. Yeah, you know, you can do your own CSS, HTML. You can go to town and go nuts if you know how to do more. There's a lot to this. I'm really just trying to show you how to change things up a little bit. Create your own liveries in an easy, simple way without opening your own game company, right? Kind of giving you a basic education without you having to go to college and spend 5 years in the industry. Here you go. So you can go and you can have a white one, and like I said, you can go to town, go to the white one. But what I wanted to show you was the gold one is basically based on that. And the one we're changing it to is pretty much, if I remember correctly, it's based off of this one. I could be wrong. There's 4 different styles, 5 different styles. Yeah, it's based off of this one. Now, there's actually a reference file that I'm going to show you, so I hope you're paying attention. We're going to go ahead and we're going to quit Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, and we're going to make a small change. Not just to the decals, but I'm going to show you the model file. So if I go here, and you have chrome gold, you have gold chrome pony 2. That is a mouthful to say. And you have your live ALBD files. You have your original. This is what we need. We need, first of all, well, I'll tell you when you really need to pay full attention to the change. In texture here, we're going to go here, and we're just going to copy the right gold file. Copy it. I know that's the one I need, and I know that it's right. So, this is what I want to show you. So in the model, sorry, it's not the panel file, it's the model file. In the model file, it tells you right here, and it's something interesting. Model 4. Well, Model 4 in the Carenado file has the gold that wraps up around the back, and you need 2 gold propellers, or 2 propellers of the right color according to your paint scheme, and you can figure that out as you paint them out. But the model we're using is not Model 4. I think it's Model 2 or Model 3. So in that model folder, for just the livery, this isn't actually the model folder. Some of you guys are a little more advanced. Like, you mean the actual 3D model? No, just the model file. We're going to go back here, and we're going to go to Gold Chrome Pony 2. And we're going to go into Sim Objects and Airplanes, and you're going to see that this model, when we open this one, is actually called, yep, we're using Model 3, so we're using Model 4 for one, and Model 3, like I said, I can use the same paint file, but Model 4 has a different stripe layout than Model 3, then Model 2, the one without it. You're using CSX, you're using XML. You know, it's just too much for changing around some simple colors. But again, we're going to be using Model 3. You can use Model 4, and it's going to change the stripe layout. So in the model configuration file for your livery, for some of the liveries that use the XML, the CSS, they use a kind of like an HTML or a code based. They have all their files hidden somewhere for the stripes. It makes it easier. You can just link it to the model by using a model number. Kind of a cool feature. So maybe I'll cover that in like a lesson 3. But right now, all I want to do is get this to work. So there's our decals file, and we want to change it with the gold decals. Now that we have the gold decals in there. Okay, so guess what? I see that I made a small mistake here, and before I launch Microsoft Flight Simulator, and you guys are like, I followed his crazy directions, and I don't understand what happened. Well, so again, this is, kind of keeping track of where you are. So I'm in my community folder, and I have this gold chrome pony in here, and I have the file that we were making the changes to in a separate folder in the desktop where I changed the decals out. So when you were gone, I noticed that I still had this weird problem with the decals. And that's because I'm also working with copies of copies. And I said, well, what did you do wrong? Well, yeah, you didn't put the file in the right place. Really? Really? So, yep, I want to replace it in the community folder. Now, remember, your community folder has your liveries. It has your third-party liveries that you have that you're going to use in the simulator. Some people say don't call it a game, so let's not call it a game. Let's call it a simulator. So it's going to have all your third-party liveries. Your official is going to have all of the very important files that you don't want to alter unless you absolutely know what you're doing. You want to make backups of all of your originals before you put it in here. So I made a small goof. I'm fixing it. You really didn't see it, but I realized that we've been using this folder here on the desktop to make some changes, and I didn't change the master file. Instead of dragging and copying everything back over again, I just dragged the sticker file back over. Sticker file should be right again, so again, moment of truth. I'm going to go ahead and launch Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm not going to bore you with the really long loading screen. See you in a minute. Okay, so let's take a look at this. I'm going to go back here, go to my hangar. Again, it's going to load the default blue pony. And we're using the same thumbnail as the one we changed. So, with everything that I did, the only problem that I had, really, was the decals. The 337, which on some of them appears on the tail, on this one it appears gold on the wing, is now gold on the wing. I changed it to the right color. If it was blue, you'd see that it would show up as blue, but it's gold, so it shows up as gold underneath the gold chrome, which is how I would want it. So you get all that really cool metallic gold looking stuff. Now, if I just wanted it to be like, without the metallic, I would change the comp file. So again, we're looking here that here's how it looks right? And here's how it looks in the hangar, and you're seeing that there's like a semi-shiny, a metallic shiny, the flat of the de-icer boots. Wow, forget what they're called. You know. So we basically have it the way we want it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back and I'm going to show this to you. Could we go to Japan? We could go to Japan. We could go to Cat Island if we really want to. You want to see Cat Island? Cat Island's over here, by the way. Yeah. But I already have a YouTube video. I talk about the air remote cat, and we visit that island. Anyhow, well, fun little airport. And again, I'm using some freeware third-party liveries. It's a enhancement of this airport. So we're going to get a little bit of an art tutorial, and then not really get a flying tutorial, and you know, you guys get to see me fly too. Isn't that cool? So here we go. Ready? Okay. So we're inside the cockpit. And I'm going to take a walk around on the ground. I'm going to look at it. And I can see that it looks all cool and gold chromey. And to tell you the truth, with the weather like this, I love live weather, but it's not going to show you everything I'm trying to show you. So here you go. I mean, you've got all the different textures. Oh, and like I said, still an improvement. Yeah, this guy, the guy and his kid, Carinado knows who they are, and I'm not trying to make anyone mad at Carinado, but, you know, can we get a different choice of pilots? So, there we go. In the Skymaster 2, you got your gold chrome, you've got your shiny eggshell white paint, you've got your rear white propeller, your front gold chrome propeller, you've got your rivets and bolts white, because that's actually how I want them, and you've got your Derp your Hooves at U2 logo. And no, just in case you guys were wondering, I do not put my Derp your Hooves logos on the skins I give you guys to download. That's just mean. That's for me and my YouTube channel. So here we go. Let's give it a notch of flaps, and up we go. Did we give it one notch of flaps or two notches of flaps? I don't remember. And bring the gears up. Two notches of flaps. There's that gear horn. Okay. Oh, and there's our tablet with the logo on it. Isn't that awesome? Doesn't say Carinado. Nothing on this thing says Carinado. But we know it's the Carinado because they're the only ones who make the Skymaster 2 right now. And it says right there, Carinado. That's the only thing it says Carinado on the tablet. I left that. And wherever they might else be hiding little art files. And we can see where we are, and we're in the sky, and again, if we look around the cockpit, it's got all my nice little touches to it, and maybe an Easter egg or two. That if you guys ever download my files, well, you know, maybe you can hunt and see if I left you some Easter eggs to go find. Who knows? Maybe I'll even offer a prize one day for an Easter egg hunt. So here we go, and we're just going to do this really quick and engage the autopilot, because we're going to do two more things. We actually kind of had to fly the plane to do this because I don't want an in-hangar picture for a thumbnail. Autopilot's on, altitude hold is on. Hiccups. I do get hiccups. And no, this was supposed to be an art lesson, not a flying lesson. I agree. Heading, altitude hold, it's going to fly in a straight line. So now we can go ahead and we can... I heard you. So here we go. Here's the new gold paint job with the de-icer boots front and back. And the Skymaster too. And I'm saying, well, yeah, I really want, a better thumbnail. Because this isn't the blue one. So I'll just do, take a screenshot of it. And now that's saved in memory. And I'm going to see you guys in 1 second. You don't have to watch me land this, but I just took a screenshot. We're going to use that as a thumbnail. So I'll see you in a second to go ahead and talk about the thumbnail. Okay. So, some of you might be asking yourselves, well, again, how do you change that thumbnail? Because there's that thumbnail file and like a double thumbnail of another one, and I'm just wondering, because I've read some things and it says, well, so we took a screenshot when we were flying, and it's still saved in my screenshots, so there it is. So I'm going to use that as the new thumbnail. Now, these are actually some large files. And again, it's just a thumbnail file, so it doesn't have to be that big. So we're going to save it as. And we're going to save it just right there as thumbnail without it being caps. Thumbnail, and we don't want to save it as Clip Studio format. We want to save it as a JPEG. And yep, it's going to ask us, are you sure? Because if you save it as a Clip Studio format, it's going to let you make some changes to it. So again, I have thumbnail small and thumbnail in here. So let's go ahead and open up a new window and undate Skymaster. See, we have thumbnail. So let's copy the thumbnail, take it, and where are we? We're in Community. Yep, Goldmaster Chrome Pony 2. So in Model, we don't actually need to go into Model. The model file is fine as it is. We need to go into, to start, Content Info, Gold Pony 2, and we need to replace that one. Yep, I want to replace it. There we go. So now that thumbnail is going to be the new thumbnail for this. And I'm just going to go ahead and copy it again. And go back, and go into Sim Objects, and go into Airplanes, and go into Texture. And find a nice blank spot. And paste it. Yep. I want to replace the thumbnail there, too. It's going to replace that thumbnail. Now watch this. So I copied it. Let's copy it again. Now, if I paste it, it's going to say thumbnail copy. Right? Well, we know that's called thumbnail with a, that little dash space, underscore space between it. So we're just going to delete that. And take this thumbnail small. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and show you what it looks like in the Flight Simulator hangar at this point, because this is it. This thing is ready to go. All the layout files, the reference files, whatever you want to call them, they've all been edited properly. All the image files have been edited properly. Everything's good to go. We have upgraded the Ice Blue Pony to a Gold Pony 2. And this is the update that I wanted to do. So, this was a lot of work, actually, just to update, an aircraft. And that's because, again, we added all of these interior items that I hadn't changed before. I just, really didn't see the point until recently. So this actually is a whole lot more files than the original. There was a lot of work to do, a lot of replacing to do. I showed you again how to save something as a .dds file, where it gives you the MIP maps, and how those are the files you want to use, not just a regular PNG. And I'm actually going to kind of cover that really quick. Let's see exactly how long it'll be. We're running, close to a little over an hour on this tutorial. So, I mean, this is like a 1 hour tutorial and a 2 1 hour tutorials. So that's 2 hours for one lesson. And I mean, really, it could be a lot more than this. And it could even be even more concise and more clear. But hey, I'm teaching this to you guys. And thanks for sitting here and listening to me, and I hope that you learned. So, you don't want to save things as just a standard PNG. Now, Microsoft Flight Simulator will take it. Not all these models will, some of them will. They'll take it as a .png. Your simulator will lag. And when you zoom out in the third-party view in the aircraft, and your people who download your liveries are going to complain, it's going to turn pink. It's going to get all weird. The colors are going to get, because you're not using the .dds file. Now, as of January 26, 2022, almost February 2022, this is the standard way to go ahead and update some of the livery files, how to make and create livery files for the aircraft. Now, we're just, again, updating a livery file. We're not making an airplane from scratch. We are just changing the paint job so that this way the aircraft that you have, that you paid for in Microsoft Flight Simulator, or that you downloaded for free, because there are some really nice freeware aircraft out there, but you said, I just don't like the paint style, I want to keep the factory one without, well, this is how you make an add-on livery. This is a really simple way. These are all the files, the file formats that you need to do. If you don't do this, guys, ladies and gentlemen, sorry, because I know that we're not all guys. There's, women and men designer out there. It's just not going to work. Your liveries aren't going to show up. Your image files aren't going to show up. So, again, it has to be saved as a .dds file. There has to be MIP maps. If you save it as a DXT1, so I'm told, it's not going to show the comp files underneath. And you'll see that too sometimes if you don't have comp files, or if the livery just wasn't made right. The lighting will get really weird. It'll get dark and light. And so there's reasons that things are purple and pink and red in the comp file that I have open here on purpose. A lavender purple, a yellow, a green, a black, a red, an orange. They all have to do, with textures and how the light, the artificial light in the game bounces off the texture to make it more realistic. And, I've been, messing with texture files for quite a long time. I'm not a professional graphic designer. I'm sure it shows. And things have changed drastically since I started doing this, especially when I started doing it in the old version of Microsoft Flight Simulator, for other programs, for other games, that I've, done some texturing. These comp files, they're here to stay for right now. Who knows how things are going to change over the next few years, and sometimes things vary from program to program, but for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, if you want your liveries to look good, you got to take your time on them. You got to have your layout file, your JSON layout file. You've got to have your comp file. You've got to have your PNG, art file. It has to be in a DDS format. Um, you got to do all these things, or it's not going to work, or it's not going to look good. Um, and just patience and practice. I also highly recommend, some people are, geniuses and masters with a mouse. I can use both, but sometimes I use a combination of both. But a pen tablet, if you're definitely going to get into some kind of graphic designer art, is very worth it. They even make some pen tablets that have touch screens with a stylus that are much more affordable than they ever were. You're saying, well, I, I mean, it's such a major investment in equipment. Well, I mean, you've already spent probably a major investment in the flight simulator. But if you're gonna make these liveries, guys, you know, you got to spend your time. You got to experiment. You got to sit there and go through the headaches and the nightmares of, well, that doesn't work and this doesn't work. Well, you know, you make mistakes, and that's how you learn. You learn from your mistakes. But at least, hopefully, as all over the place that this tutorial has been, I hope that these, part one and part two, these tutorials have taught you guys something on how to make these liveries. Um, so, I wish you all the best. Um, Now, if you have some questions, you can go ahead and you can put them in the description. Um, obviously, I'm not gonna, you know, answer some questions. I will try and get to some of them the best I can. Um, you know, just I know that doing this on my own and looking at other tutorials and learning how to do this over all the years, man, sometimes it gets frustrating. So I just hope that this is a good guide for you guys. I'm going to leave you with this, and wish you the best of luck. Again, flightsim.to. You can upload your files. They can't be pornographic. It's in the rules. They can't have certain art in it. They have terms and conditions, but you can go ahead and upload your files there. People, if they like them, they'll download them. So, you guys, good luck to you, and I'll see you around. Before you go, if you like what you saw, don't forget to like and subscribe.